When this friendly yellow tabby came to West Suburban Humane Society, no one thought there was anything particularly special about him. He was matted, dirty, and sick, all pretty common conditions for an ordinary, unwanted cat. But Garfield is no ordinary cat. Unraveling his mystery would take Garfield from Downers Grove, Illinois, to the small animal hospital at Purdue University's School of Veterinary Medicine in Lafayette, Indiana. Garfield got a total makeover at WSHS, but staff and volunteers noticed he was drinking and urinating excessively, a worrisome symptom of a potentially serious condition. Local vets examined him repeatedly, but the condition remained undiagnosed. Vet Scott Owens at Purdue picks up the story.
So it's my understanding that Garfield showed up around March of this year at the Humane Society. And,
sounds about right.
At that point had a few medical problems, was drinking very excessively, urinating very excessively,
right.
Possibly had a urinary tract infection, and through actually the work of one of our veterinary school graduates who is working up in the Chicago area, they'd run some tests on him and found some pretty interesting results. And through email contacted our endocrinologist, who responded and said, obviously interpreting the test, things looked very, very interesting, and said that, you know, if at all possible, we'd like to get the cat down and take a look and run a few more tests and see if what we're suspecting is actually true, and see if we can do something to help him out.
And now, what exactly was it that you suspected at that point?
So it's pretty complicated. Basically what happens is all animals have adrenal glands, and these adrenal glands produce hormones. And there's really three main classes of hormones. One of them is a type of steroid. Another one is what we call a mineral corticoid, which is involved in potassium and sodium regulation. And the third class is the sex hormones.
Right.
So there's this hormone ACTH that gets made in the pituitary gland in the brain. What drives its production is the presence of this corticosteroid, one of the three lines within the adrenal gland. So what we have with this enzyme deficiency is we don't have this, and we don't have this, and we have a whole lot of this.
An overabundance of sex hormones.
And what drives production of this ACTH, is actual corticosteroid. So what we do by not having corticosteroid, which is he does not have any of this, or very, very little amounts, then there's no feedback on the ACTH. It just keeps producing, and that cycle just keeps going through to the sex hormones.
So it's into overdrive.
So what we do is we just supplement with the corticosteroid. What that essentially does is it replenishes what his body needs, but it also shuts down this production, slows this down, and we end up getting back to normal sex hormones. So it just kind of makes the cycle more normal.
How does it manifest itself?
So there's a number
in terms of symptoms that you would observe.
There's a couple different manifestations. The external genitalia of a female will resemble that of a male, and that's because of this massive influx of sex hormones. So they might have large amounts of testosterone, or males might develop large amounts of estrogen. And so that's actually what we're seeing with Garfield in this circumstance, in that we see.
So he is genetically a male?
We are not sure of that. We are running a test today that takes about 4 to 5 weeks to get back to see what his chromosomes look like, his sex chromosomes, looking is he XX, which would be female, or XY, being male. The only reported case of this in a cat looked very, very similar to Garfield. Had the external genitalia of a male cat, actually turned out to have the internal sex organs of a female, had ovaries, uterus, and in fact was XX and was a female.
So physical observation of Garfield would lead you to think he's a male? At
this point, we have a penis with barbs on it, which is only something that occurs actually in intact males. When you neuter a male, typically they lose those barbs. The confounding thing with Garfield is that his mammary glands are very well developed as well, almost like a pregnant female.
So Emily, how did you get involved with all this?
Well, I am a fourth-year student here, and I was just lucky enough to be involved in the case with Dr. Owens and to be able to learn about it and be involved with Garfield. He or she. Really nice.
So, as I understand it, there's only one other documented case of this
Yes.
in the U.S.
In any literature.
Anywhere?
The literature that we look through is pretty much international. So there's one cat reported about 6 years ago, and it surely doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's something that obviously you can see that, say he were an indoor-outdoor cat that no one really weren't extremely paying attention to, it definitely could be out there, and it's something that maybe if we tested more cats with subtle similar signs, we could certainly find it more. But what we do know is it's only been reported once, and we certainly look forward to getting his case out there as well, and getting the awareness a little bit more about what's going on.
So this will give vets down the road a leg up on how to treat the condition, to recognize the condition more quickly, more readily.
The treatment is actually fairly simple once you get to the bottom of it. It's more the identifying it and diagnosing the disease.
Well, that's wonderful. This must be pretty exciting for you.
Absolutely.
Garfield's adoptive mom, Sarah, doesn't much care if he's a medical rarity. She's just happy he's hers.